Hello.
Hello.
It's us again with this week's Your Weekly Miracle, Julia and
Don.
yeah, the double act. So last week I left you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger, didn't
No,
I?
I left you guys on a cliffhanger, saying there's going to be another part to what we were talking about our getting back to new normal experience.
The mother of all ups. Yes.
Thank you, Pete Mackay, for that. He taught me this.
He didn't come up with that, you know.
Yeah, but
I've known about
the
that.
idea that making assumptions is the mother of all fuck-ups.
So, assumptions. Are you making assumptions in your relationship? I'd be willing to put money that you are, because we all do it. It's not new. And we just wanted to give you an example of something that happened to us whilst we were away on our last bit of travel back in our old world of being on the road with music.
Traveling through airports, doing shows in faraway lands,
We were in
usual
the airport, and basically Don is going to tell you, because he was the one that kind of went there in his head about what I was up to.
Well, I noticed as we were going through airports that a lot of times Julia was blazing ahead. You know, it's like we're a couple and we work and travel together as a couple. And usually when we're walking through normal life, we walk together. But she's walking ahead. She's doing the supermodel strut and don't take photos of me kind of thing. Just, you know, please, that kind of thing. And I was like, why is she doing this? I've noticed this in the past, and like particularly this trip in particular, it was off the hook. You know, I got torn apart at one point, you know, through security, and she just blazed away. So when we got home.
Yeah, when we got home, this was one of the things that came up for us was, oh yeah, and by the way, you know, and the thing is, I do not think of myself as a supermodel. God, I mean, yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Well, she does kind of look like a supermodel strutting through her glasses
not
on.
When I'm headed,
things are trailing.
Not when I'm headed for the plane. I've got my cozies on. I've usually got a hood on, and I'm just trying to get. This is the thing for me. It's not about leaving Don behind. It's not about being stalked by paparazzi, because obviously I'm not. But it's about getting. Basically, I find airports incredibly stressful. And so I was re-experiencing this kind of PTSD from doing this for the last 22 years of my life. And I didn't particularly want to be in that space. So I was just trying to get from A to B, wherever A was. Like A was the check-in desk, B was security, and then from security to maybe the lounge, or maybe just somewhere where I could sit and have a cup of water or a cup of coffee or something. So I'm just zipping through the airport and trying to do it as quickly and painlessly as possible. So we're coming from two very different places. Don is kind of likes to stroll, take his time, and I'm like, meow, meow.
Since I've done it for not 20 years, but 40 years, I've given up and even trying to rush to catch a flight. It'll happen if it happens. It's kind of my attitude in an airport.
Yeah.
It's my version of PTSD.
He made an assumption about what was going on in my head, which was completely wrong. And this is something that we actually do with our partners quite a lot, especially if we've been in a relationship a while. We tend to, what's that lovely phrase? Familiarity breeds contempt. We tend to just assume we know what's going on because we know them fairly well.
Yeah, but I don't think that I wouldn't say this was contempt. This was just more. It was like, let's get curious about this a bit.
Yeah, and that's the key. When we got home, he got curious. And he asked me, what is that all about? That's the key. It's not honest communication to make an assumption about your partner and then not question or get curious. The key is to be aware of where you might be coming from, because this is a human trait. We all do this in all kinds of situations. What happens is we tend to layer what's going on over what they're doing, and it becomes much more about what's annoying to us than what perhaps they're dealing with. When this has happened to me with Don in the past, I've thought that a million times I've thought he was really angry with me, and he's actually been scared about something completely different.
I think we've talked about that too.
Yeah.
It's really, you find so much of what you're angry about or annoying is really kind of fear-based.
Yeah. And
which fear being the opposite of love, of course.
And when you know that about your partner, it enables you to access compassion for what they're dealing with. And it really kind of is like a comfort blanket over your feelings of fear about what you thought, what you assumed they were doing. It was 9 times out of 10, it's actually not really about you. It's about something that they're dealing with, just like me in the airport. I just didn't like being in the airport.
So why did you blaze ahead of me then?
Just like I said, to get from one end of it to the other as quickly and as painlessly as possible. And yes, okay, if that meant leaving you behind.
You did stop and check out the sunglasses on the way in the duty free.
Once I get to duty free, I can take a breath. I'm like, okay, I'm in duty free now. I
can browse.
I'm learning. I can browse. But really what assumption making does is it blocks the truth of what's really going on. And before you even know, you've shut down. And they're already they're already dealing with something. So it's just like breaks down communication as opposed to building it back up. So I think the real keys are stay open, stay curious. Wonderful question when you see your partner doing something that you don't particularly like is, what's going on?
Which is kind of what I came at this with once we got home and kind of were, relaxed. I just got curious. Like, why?
Did you do that?
We don't think of ourselves as supermodels, as J-Lo and Ben. It's like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And it's funny when you come from
curiosity,
which doesn't sound so fear-based. It's like everybody communicates on a better level, a higher level. And there's a lot more love in the room.
It creates a safer platform. If somebody says, what's going on for you? Well, what was that about? It's less threatening. You don't have to, as the person responding, you don't have to get defensive and say, well, I was just doing this, You can just say, well, actually, I don't like that situation. And I was trying to get through it as fast as possible. And that's really what it was about. So
it gets back to assumptions again.
And having some self-awareness about what you're bringing to the assumption. Assumptions are about us more than the person that we're communicating with, right? Getting curious, asking a simple question like, what was that about for you? I know what it was about for me. It pissed me off because of blah, blah, blah. But what was going on for you? And 9 times out of 10, we can guarantee that it's really got nothing to do with you most of the time. Why would I leave my husband behind? I wouldn't be leaving him behind. I'm not that's not how we roll. That's not how our relationship is. So, curiosity, asking a simple question, being aware of where you are coming from in response of something that you actually really don't know. Because you're making an assumption.
So the other really fun part about this is we get to do this all again next week.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're going to be in airports. We're going to be traveling across the world.
To Budapest.
And hopefully we'll have a good report on how we handled it this next trip.
Hopefully we'll both give each other a gold star. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
Once again, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. That's the way that we get to know you guys like what we do. If you have any issues, please feel free to leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. And if we can help you in any way any way we can, we will do that.
And also, I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Jan, who's been giving us media coaching. Just say hi.
All right, guys.
See you next time.
Bye.